I'm a Telecommunicator 3. I answer administrative and 911 calls. I operate teletype, querying missing people, driver's licenses, license plates, wanted people, stolen items, etc. And I operate the fire rescue radio. After hours and holidays, we, my coworkers and I, also handle utilities calls, warrants, civil, and other various departments within the sheriff's office. My county's population is just under 179,000 people. I've been a telecommunicator for 13 years. It's expected of me to listen, react, maintain my composure, and never reflect in my voice if I'm scared, upset, or angry. Even if I don't have the answer to something, I have to figure out in a matter of seconds. People count on me. I answer call after call, never knowing what I'm going to pick up. I answer routine calls that I transfer to other departments. I provide CPR instructions. I answer calls about power outages. I explain how to stay safe, and I give routine advice. I'm on the phone going through each moment with you, but when we hang up, I have to move on to the next call. Your worst moment becomes mine, over and over again. Most calls, I never find out what happened or get any closure. I work shift work, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, broken into 12-hour shifts. 911 always comes first. I often miss holidays, special events with family and friends, birthdays, anniversaries, special moments that I'll never get back. I'm always here to protect and serve. During my 13 years of service, I've handled various calls that I'll never forget. Let's talk about the homicides. 2 neighbors exchanging words and gunfire over drugs. 1 died. The son who found his father wounded and dying. The son provided all of the information on the suspect, which helped us make an arrest. Unfortunately, his father died. A husband shot his wife during an argument. The husband confessed to me during the 911 call. We take a lot of medical calls. I've spoken to multiple people who have found loved ones deceased or who needed CPR instructions. I've had people die on the phone before fire rescue arrived. I spoke to a young male juvenile who found his uncle on the couch and couldn't wake him up or move him. The uncle had passed away, and the young boy didn't even know it until the units arrived to tell him. I've given CPR instructions to a deputy who was so distraught over his 5-year-old seizing that he lost all composure and couldn't remember what to do. I've spoken to an off-duty deputy who was on the river and found 2 children floating down the river. He saved them both. I've spoken to an elderly woman who stayed all night with her husband who had passed away at least 12 hours prior because she didn't want to let him go. This was an expected death. I've assisted with finding people who were lost in the woods. I've helped frantic moms locate their small child who they thought was missing. I've spoken to people who have found elderly folks who have dementia or Alzheimer's who have wandered and didn't know where they were. I've had EMS abandon their vehicle due to the patient becoming combative. I've also spoken to EMS as their patient fled out the back of the ambulance. I've worked multiple hurricanes where I've had to listen to 4 radio channels at one time because it was too busy on phones and on radio positions for someone to help me. Then we have the suicides. Husband and wife are arguing. Husband kills himself in the bathroom. Female shoots herself. Her son-in-law was there. He couldn't save her. A male who kills himself on the bicycle path. A stranger who was walking by found him. An elderly male takes his own life on a farm-type property right in front of his daughter. A male shot himself in his backyard. His wife found him and did CPR while his blood poured out. A male killed himself in the garage in front of his wife and his 15-year-old daughter because his wife was going to leave him. A neighbor heard a couple of gunshots the night before. He went for a walk the next day and found a male and a dog deceased on a vacant lot. The male had committed suicide, and he had also killed his dog. An elderly male stabbed himself intentionally in the middle of the night, stating he accidentally fell on the knife. He was in his bedroom. There are also some miscellaneous calls and incidents that are memorable. I've worked a fire that turned into a 750-acre burn, handled numerous 100-acre fires, a couple of small airplane crashes, and I've handled too many Bayflight incidents to count. I overheard a pursuit from 4 counties away where they were chasing an attempted murder suspect for over an hour. He stabbed both of his parents multiple times. I alerted our supervisor. By doing so, our dispatchers and patrol units were ready when the pursuit entered Hernando County. We took the suspect into custody without incident. The other agency was grateful, and everyone went home safe. I was happy. The list goes on. This is just a glimpse of the day-to-day things I routinely handle. This job can't be done by everyone. It's a calling. We, my coworkers and I, have heard things that no one should ever hear. We get yelled at, cursed at, and sometimes we even get thanked. We multitask like no other. We have to be able to answer the phone, speak to the caller, give help, answer questions to the dispatcher, and answer other calls without skipping a beat. People's worst nightmares we handle multiple times a day. I really do love my job, and at the end of the day, I know I have done all that I can.